Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Cast. We have some more Nations Cup action for you today. It is the 8th Nations Cup. ETF2L have ran. We've seen the group stages, we've seen the tiebreakers, and now we are down to the round of 16. It's going to be Poland versus Portugal, both emerging from their groups. Portugal playing a tiebreaker on this channel just last week. It's joining me today on the mic. It's going to be Bumfries.
Should be a very close one. These teams are both doing well in the tournament so far. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see who gets on into the quarters. And we'll run you through the rosters quickly. We've got Spans and 31 on Scout, Haunts on Soldier, Colline on Soldier as well, Cooney on Demo, and I believe it'll be Piggy on Medic for Portugal. And then over on the side of Poland, we have BB and Sam Scouts, Bonkers and Wonju on Soldiers, Stan on Demo, and the Polish team also has a medic.
His name, I know it because I went to school with him, is Wiethoofd.
Oh, wait, do we have a Polish expert in chat? Fisjuka or Fisiuka?
Fisjuka.
Yeah, I don't know who are really the ones to keep your eyes on. I don't think anyone's particularly like, this person will carry the game, but as you did mention, the Soldiers of Portugal were very impressive last time we saw them. I haven't managed to catch a Poland game as of yet, so I wouldn't know about them, but we are going live if you've just joined us. Portugal versus Poland in the round of 16 here on Critscast in the ETF2L 8th Nations Cup. Stan taking a bit of a slow rollout. Meanwhile, his Soldier goes ultra fast. Bonkers went straight into the air but does not land on the enemy pack. Colline now bombing forwards as Bonkers takes the space. Two Soldiers actually going behind for the Polish side in IT and bombing straight out. It's very successful for them. Bonkers finding two frags and Wonju in from behind, cleaning up the rest. He finds Wild Piggy, but through all of that, Spans just barrels forwards and gets himself onto Fisjuka as well. And it's just Colline left alive on second here. Oh, the pickaxe battle is won out by Poland as well. They get the mid and they get the glory.
Yeah, really decisive mid there. Just Poland managed to sort of just spam them out, do so much damage, and the huge follow-up came out from Bonkers. And then sort of at the last second, Spans just palled him through three players, tried to body block him, and picks off Zio near independently. So that's put his team in a really good position here. It's going to be equal Ubers on last. They've certainly slowed down Poland, but they are missing Cooney as it stands, so there's no trap pressure, there's no spam from the Demo Man, and they're busting straight in through 5 here.
Yep, all the way in through 5. They've already got frag onto Wonju, but Colline and Span are down. There is the bomb from Haunts trying to get onto anyone here, but the Polish players are just overwhelming them on last, just run that in and get all the frags and take the point with 5 left alive.
Yeah, really quick and decisive rounds. It looked like Poland just had a sort of stranglehold on Portugal. Even when it was a sort of reasonably even situation, they just didn't allow them to get set up at all and managed to close that out mega quickly. So 2 minutes in, we're already seeing our second mid about to kick off, and Stan opting for a really slow rollout into Suez, which I find quite interesting, but seemingly another slow mid.
Yep, both teams now at the mid. Stan does take a big rocket from Haunts, and Portugal are just walking all over the enemy side, kind of forcing Poland to do the same. So teams have now swapped. They're both on each other side of the maps as Colline takes the first bomb in. He's going to find Stan, so no demo for Poland. And this is a really difficult position to be in, because if they lose the mid-fight now, they all but guarantee a wipe because they're caught on the red side of the map. Still, both teams just kind of spamming. 31 going to be taken down in return. Haunts very low, sliver of HP on the low ground, but Colline going to be the one to get taken out. Portugal now using off their Uber. Oh, and the Polish medic, he's 92%. He's going to be able to surf out into sewer, but he's run forwards. Oh, Spans is onto him. He gets the sword, but it's not enough. Spans does take down the frag before they get Uber.
This is chaotic. It looks like both teams are looking to play it really slowly, and then as soon as there's some damage, the Polish players just hopped all up on top of high ground and collectively just completely sort of rained down on Portugal. They managed to get that Uber off, convert a couple of frags, of course, in getting the all-important Zio, who died on that 92%, as you said. And Portugal close it out with 2 players remaining on that mid-fight, and they are not looking to slouch about as the roll is out, come from Poland.
Yep, only 70% on Piggy though, and an amazing bomb from Bonkers just takes him down with one rocket. All they needed was that little bit of spam onto Piggy, and then the bomb just cleans him up in one hit, and then obviously everyone else who was in gets cleaned up from there. There is some frags from Cooney as they're trying to chase him down in sewers. That's going to be Bonkers and Wanzu both falling, but Stan, this time it's his turn with the pickaxe, and instead the Pain Train wins it out. 2 melee kills for Poland already within 4 minutes of the game, and they're reclaiming mid, and they have a big Ubercharge advantage. They're ready to run into second.
Yeah, managing to maintain their Uber advantage, and they are, as we said, they're completely strangling Portugal. They're not giving them any space whatsoever. They're pushing up on every minor advantage in spite of being equal players. They use their 30% Uber advantage just to get straight on that cab and keep applying that pressure, keep the thumb down on them, taking points for free. And they've put Portugal in a very awkward position on last. It looks like they will get Ubercharge in time, but hardly any time at all to fortify their defenses, just pulling up the heavy. And it looks like they're straight in. Ubercharge so deep. Stan is up top, shooting down Collide, laying onto point. They've had to Uber onto it, Portugal now, and they're just in a bit of a melee. 3 down on the side of Poland. Losing Zio as well does mean they're going to have to back out here, and Portugal have a sort of shot, a revenge here as they're meandering their way out of lobby, but 31 going down to Wanzu on the outlast.
Yeah, both players in behind here. This is really crucial for Poland because they have so much cap time. They're bringing everyone from Portugal back. That is enough to leave them alone on second. They're actually able to reclaim second with the respawners alone. There was so much cap time there. Portugal were playing it so dangerously, letting Sam just sit on the point for most of that last push. And then the 2 players just threatening the back cap forced all of Portugal to stay behind, but now they're ready to push out once again. A lot of damage into Colline will put him in the dirt before he even gets out, and now BB running back into lobby, kind of scaring them. Spans is the only one out here on second, and he's going to lose his life. So now they can actually recycle this last push maybe if they're willing to. There's 2 picks on their side, and it looks like Poland are taking lobby and they're ready to go.
Yeah, of course, you have to bear in mind that Portugal do actually have the Uber charge here. The spawners are up in Poland, but they've taken all the position in this fight. Sam Stroud's point is on Wild Pig. He does get the force off. Stan will lose his life, and Sam managing to slither out just about, but certainly delaying enough for his medic to survive. Now on 90% is Poland, and they have got that soldier above and behind. If Portugal push out here, this could be disastrous. Oh no, there's nobody anywhere near it. Ports is 3 seconds away on the spawn queue. They brought a few players back with the Uber charge, and they are all over this lad. Portugal going to have to really scramble to get their back there in time. Being slightly outnumbered by these Polish players as they still have their heals up. 3 very weak players on the point for Portugal. Just getting completely spammed out. Horns on 1 HP. Gets picked off by a rocket from Bonkers. And that does seal the second round. They're really sort of a well-coordinated and explosive fights out of this Polish team. But
yeah, Poland get it eventually, and it's all down to how much Portugal gave away there on the initial last push, which was a tiny little advantage. But Poland managed to at least scare Portugal back to last, and then obviously maneuver through that repush just gorgeously and get us here onto our third mid, with Poland taking the lead 2-0. This time both teams taking each other's side again, but Wanju is hiding. He's laying a trap in IT and it's been sprung, but Haunts finds him easily enough. Colline going to be falling as well from Bonkers on the midpoint there. So both teams once again in enemy territory right now. 5v5 as Bonkers bombs forwards, puts a bit of hurt into the scout.
Yeah, it seems like Poland are playing a lot tighter to their medic, and as a result, it's really hard for them to get chipped down to sort of a finish off health, and Portugal just sort of running around for health packs all the time. We are seeing an Uber trade on this point. No team really taking this high ground, but BB's running over both soldiers and the demo man. But nice rocket balls does eventually pick him off. Poland going to have to recede, losing both of their scouts. It's just going to be Stan and Wanzu with their medic here, and they're going to try and fortify themselves on second. It's pretty much equals, but Portugal are not going to allow them to fail to capitalise on the mistakes that Poland did, and Kalinic going down does sort of sully their chances as well. Piggy left without a heal target, and Poland straight on the aggression again.
Yeah, that's not good enough to be pushing into second with, and Poland are going to make sure they punish that mistake. Haunts is going to be falling. They're already putting the pedal to the metal in walking forwards towards second. They've got a player in already. That's Wanzu just spamming down Cooney, seeing what he can do. Sam busting the choke as well, and huge rocket from Bonkers as well. They are just absolutely choke holding Portugal and forcing them out. Spans is escaping in PC, but he's not going to be able to do much back here He's just delaying, really. Sam taking a fight now into the fight with Colin. Colin kills him with a rocket jump by accident and then manages to trade with a soldier as well. This fight is crazy. Spam's also going to take down BB. He's actually causing havoc on the back lines. I was not expecting him to be able to have this much impact. And now that's actually allowed all of Portugal to run back in from their own last. Spam's just kind of clutched that one, actually.
Yeah, really insane. Of course, Poland losing their scouts certainly sort of muddies matters for them as they've been quite crucial in their game plan in sort of driving forward at the speed they have been thus far. Now, looking to sort of just fortify themselves on mid here. Both teams on Uber, of course, very much the ball in the court of Portugal as they are 2 rounds down as it stands, but just seemingly feeling each other out in this interim period here. Ponkers does it, eventually bomb through, huge damage onto 31, managing to sort of get some nice damage onto Cooney, eventually getting the frag. Of course, a lot of demo man pressure down in choke from Portugal, so it might be a sort of free hunting season for Poland as they are progressing forward here.
Yeah, they actually just force off Portugal's Uber, and theirs is going to be so much better. 6 seconds better on the Uber as they do chase this one forwards. Spams has got behind the Uber. He's seeing if he can do it again, just causing havoc behind. Colline also bombing through from behind into choke. He's onto the medic. He does get it with that final rocket just in the last second, but it does give away the second point to Poland at the very least, and they're going to look to at least second to last, see if they can get Piggy in return. There's already stickies on the point. They're going to look to try and play it from the side of Poland. They do bait Haunts into bombing forwards. They're taking him down. The stickies are dead, and in fact it's all falling apart on last for Poland, but they get Piggy. BB in the last second finds Piggy. That's all they realistically wanted, but they have 5 man sacked for it, so they will definitely be giving up second.
Yeah, not giving Portugal too much momentum, but the Polish soldiers just weren't healthy enough to support with that cap pressure, and ultimately just all fell apart. They're of course losing Zia pretty early on. Certainly does not make matters any easier, so Poland just going to have to get themselves set up on mid. They have got the forward spawns on the way, both scouts still rolling out, and Portugal quite content with just sitting about here, and they've got a 30% disadvantage, so you can't exactly blame them for that, particularly with how sort of punishing Poland have been thus far.
Yeah, still 20 minutes left on the game. It's been a very, very quick one so far. It feels like we've been here a while, but no, Poland have just been taking this dominantly as of yet. And now they do have the Uber charge. There is a huge bomb from Haunts landing in choke, nearly puts Bonkers down, but doesn't quite. Instead, it's the dry push from Sewer that's going to find all these frags, and they bomb it forward. Stan with a huge double kill in one. Oh, that's going to convert the round unless Spans can do something heroic here. Spans really...
the scouts
there's
on the
low
cap.
health on the point.
Oh, 2 scouts back for it though. Sam is there in waiting, supporting BB on that slightly ill health. That was really well thought out by them, because Spans could potentially have just completely saved that for Portugal, because BB definitely didn't anticipate it there. So Poland with that crucial sort of Portuguese mistake picked up there.
Yeah, the real play to talk about there is Stan just taking forwards this huge bomb, almost like the bomb you'd see in an Uber, but just doing it dry and collecting everyone in one. Once again, Stan fluffs his rollout. He's really, really weak coming to mid and slow, but there's not too much capitalizing off of it. There is now a bomb forwards from Haunts and Colline in as well. No one's fallen yet for either team, but Stan does go... Oh, Stan does get frag, in fact, now, sorry. As both of the soldiers bomb forward. Bonkers going to get collected there, and Colline actually doing huge damage outside Sewer. Now there's going to be a wrap from Cooney, but he doesn't actually see anyone. They've already escaped from Sewers. They're getting back towards the enemy side, just trying to stall for this Uber to get themselves out. BB in a really bad spot.
Oh, Zio's so weak. Oh, no.
To the roller. That is so unfortunate, and he doesn't manage to get Piggy. There is a bomb in from Wanju to try and clutch this, but it's not enough either. Portugal once again winning this mid, but they need something more. They need to not fail this one on second again.
No, definitely not. Like, as soon as Poland lose Stan, it seems to all fall apart. The spam pressure is just not there. Well, Piggy managing to preserve himself for the whole of that mid, with Zio getting picked off by some unfortunate spam. So Portugal are going to be in a position here to push into last. They've got all their plays, they've got that full Uber advantage, and they are making their way into lobby now, but both the soldiers taking a huge amount of damage straight away.
Yep, the last push is not going too well for Portugal at all. They've only found one Zoo right at the end here. Stan does go down, though, to 31, and this means there could be a repush, but that Heavy has so much health, and everyone's just getting caught in the grinder. Wild Piggy trying to run for his life. He's already got 2 arrows into Bonkers, but the splash around the corner is enough to finish him up. And that's a very, very long respawn for Portugal's medic. And actually, Colline was just about to spawn, but got his spawn denied and extended.
Board spawns in, but he gets completely spotted there. So Poland, they've got a free reign yet again. No heals at all on the side of Portugal. They have also lost Horns to an unfortunately failed sack there, and they're just going to close out mid really nice, really easily. Seemingly Portugal going to get all of these forward spawns, which should credit them a little bit as they try and defend this second point against this 80% Uber advantage of the poles as they make their way into IT. They're lower, Uber pops straight off, Stan does bomb forward. The Heavy's in forwards to deny. So many stickies all over the place. Bob is so weak. The bombs come over. Wanzu and Bonkers managed to pick up 2 frags respectively. Once again, have to switch back to spawn. That's 3 players on last for Portugal, and Poland are charging forward with the 3 down. A slight overcommitment there, and it could spell disaster again. Yet another round to be lost by Portugal.
Yep, that's all she wrote. It looks like 31, last main survivor on Heavy, but he's going to get taken down. That was just the perfect Uber on second from Poland. They get 3 frags and second, easily able to run that one's forwards onto last and convert it. So this, it's looking like there's signs of life from Portugal, but every single time they just fall at the second hurdle. They get over to mid, but then always making a mistake that allows Poland to just convert very, very quickly. And with 15 minutes left and Portugal already facing the loss of this map, this is really time to get back in the game, and Spans is doing just that, runs forwards. There's so much damage onto Stan. He's 1 health in the corner, but he does get that bow back up after taking down 31, and now the 5v6 Haunts will trade for it, but there's only 4 players alive from Portugal. Not worthwhile. They're gonna have to hold S out of here.
I must really commend Portugal. Every single mid, they get so many players so weak, but they never die. You know, they're constantly cycling the healthiest player forwards, and they're getting away with an awful lot, and Bonkers and Wanzu collectively managed to get the force onto Wild Piggy on second there. So again, it's put the ball very much in their court. Of course, Soldiers falling victim to that 10-second spawn wave, and Spans trying to get away with something. We're seeing a lot of individual plays out of Portugal here as it gets into a bit of crisis mode. 4-0 down, 40 minutes remaining. Portugal looking to continue to apply pressure as Portugal want to try and get this gap out, and a nice early force from Colline onto Zio. It's sort of going to ruin Poland's chances of charging this too far forward.
Yeah, and that force and surviving it and ending up behind still is even nicer. He's obviously got 2 soldiers turning around looking for him at least, and BB getting found in choke does mean that Portugal can start moving here. They've got 71%, Colline still behind. He's bombing super high right now.
Haunted as well.
Punished for it.
Not getting away with anything there. Poland, just a 6-man combo, not letting them get away with absolutely anything.
Oh my god.
So many attempts, and it just never seems to work out well. But you managed to pick up Sam, impressively so. And they are still applying more and more pressure as the Uber charge does come out of Portugal into choke, but they're not even able to get Stan with it.
Yeah, it's a disaster. Poland are all over these guys. Cooney very, very low behind this rock. He's going to get cleaned up for sure. And that's just awful from Portugal. Somehow they allowed Sam to survive until after the Uber and just one-hit 2 separate people, pretty much turn the tides of the entire Uber against them. And now it's their own 100% ad that they're going to be able to take forward. They've put Haunts behind again, and they're going to find BB here in sewer. Haunts now on mid, he's going to get taken down, but there's so many people trying for this back cap, they're just flooding the back lines. Yeah, the 2 scouts do get mid, but there's still this Uber up to worry about, but Fishjuka is nowhere near his entire team. He does now finally regroup with Sam as the 2 Portuguese scouts still trying to see what they can get away with behind lines.
Yeah, they sort of tried to take advantage of the fact that Poland had no real players that could close the distance on the scouts enough, but ultimately not managing to lock out that second cap. They just didn't have the players to support and sort of sandwich them, and as a result they're back on second with 3. You know, it seemed like a really valiant attempt, but they're sort of back very much to square one as Sam just gets so deep into the backlines, nearly gets Wild Piggy again, but Poland do actually get forced.
Yeah, the force on mid from Haunts there is going to be useful, but it's not good enough there. Haunts and Spans going down 31. Does manage to pick up Stan, so it is now a 4v4. This is good. they can try and get towards mid, which is only just being capped up now. There is a bit of a scrap going on in choke. Both of those soldiers seeing if they can get an early force, but they know that the Uber's coming in towards them now. They're both going to just scatter back, get out of mid, and now Portugal might be able to convert a second control point with this Uber ad. They're going to be walking this towards choke as well.
Stan has just stood there independently. He's done so much damage against the force over. Manages to slip away on 1 HP. Does get eventually swooped by 31, but he certainly slowed them down enough for them to have a fighting chance. Bonkers managing to get Horns as well on the flank. He is still behind, as is BB. Kaline so weak on that point in conjunction with Wild Piggy. But in losing Bonkers is just going to elect to get back to last, of course, with their medic. Not too far away from Uber charge. 99% does mean they've got to put up a hell of a fight on this last with no Portuguese soldiers in the fray.
Oh, and they do manage to force it out, but the bomb in from behind, Wanzu coming in right at the end. They actually wipe Portugal here. Haunts, the sole survivor with PTSD after that. Surely he just arrives at mid off the respawn and just watches his entire team get destroyed. Portugal just trying to take that one's forwards into an Uber charge is never the way to go about it, and they do feel the hurt afterwards. Colline trying to see what he can get done.
Does get the 2 rocket he hit on top of that Portugal. Managed to get Zio. That was a good sort of grasp, but recovery there, eliminating their Uber advantage. While Piggy now going to be on about 30-40% once the enemy medic spawns, but it's not going to be enough to justify them going into mid in spite of the lack of buffs. Losing both their soldiers is proving a bit too much for Portugal. They don't want to take the risk, but they're going to have to start taking risks if they want to have attempts at equalising the 4 rounds Poland have put up in these next 10 minutes here.
Yeah, and with 2 players down from Poland, this should be where they make their stand. They have a 50% advantage. As soon as Spans is up, we're definitely going to see this one push forwards. Just need to not die to this trap and choke, which 31 does eventually clear. And they look like they're going to be walking this one through 4-3. No one really putting up any sack attempt on the side of Poland. And we do need to see this one get converted for real this time, Portugal. You need to make something out of your advantageous situations. Here we go. The Uber coming through into second any second now. They do pop it off as the scout goes very low to the trap, but everyone's gone.
They're out of the fight. Just Wanzu sort of slips out the top of IT. Horns tries to pip him off, but we're just seeing here a lot of really good individual plays out of Portugal, but when it comes to coordinate, when it comes to pushing, Poland are just anticipating it constantly.
Once finding BB there is nice. It's going to stop Poland from wanting to do too much with this advantage they have. I mean, there's one thing pushing out of last with an Uber advantage, it's another pushing out with an Uber advantage when you're 1 down. So they are going to be just waiting here, and that gives the time for Wild Piggy. He fakes his Uber, I believe, there. He's only on about 70%. I doubt Poland will form for that. They're already looking for the space to move forwards. They're in lobby. Stan getting ready to jump out of lower. Double sticky bomb straight away, all the way through. They don't find any frags. They do find Wild Piggy, in fact, as he tries to bust through lobby into last, going for some kind of back-cap play. It's not ideal for Portugal, but they're at least picking up frags. They do find the medic, but Poland just run all over them again.
Yeah, I mean, we say there that, you know, the Uber comes forward, you see no frags being burnt at all, but what they did get was so much damage on these Portuguese players. They had like 4 sub 70 HP players, and those guys sort of piling into last don't really stand a chance if just a couple people from Poland can sort of slip their way back there. And it just made it so easy for them. Stan just seemingly going into the skybox, and now it's going to be a bit of a melee on this mid fight as Sam does lose his life, but when Poland electing to back out and give Portugal this space here as their forward spawns govern.
Yep, there is actually a Kritzkrieg on the side of Poland now to really escalate their advantage, as Portugal are just trying to dry bust here. They're going to get a frag onto BB, and Haunts actually getting in behind. Has a really good threat on this medic, but he does fail to pull it off.
So
He's so low. Stans will clean it up. Bonkers onto Wild Piggy as well. A huge surf away, but he craters from it. That's so unfortunate for Wild Piggy.
No way. Stan nearly slipping away on 1 HP again, but Spans keeps on committing, and for his efforts manages to get both Zio and Stan, 2 really critical players for Poland, and that's made enough space for Portugal to want to pressure in. Cooney and 31 managed to get the frag onto Sam 31 on the point, but no support from his comrades do mean he's going to get shut down pretty quickly. Kaline really weak in this lobby as well, as is Cooney. and they're just going to have to slip out here. They're on a 20% Uber disadvantage now, and we're going to see a bit of a stalemate.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but Portugal seems to be playing this one a bit like a lobby. Everyone's just doing their own thing, like trying to salvage it. As you say, there was no cohesion for that play onto last. It was just one guy running in. Now there are some sacks to try and get onto Poland's medic, but it's not gonna happen. Wild Piggy also getting cleaned up. 2 players back on last. That's both scouts for Portugal, but who cares about last when second is capped? And Poland knows they're here. Wanzu bombing forwards, just trying to scare 31 out. BB now the backup to clean both of these frags up. Hopefully Span's just the only one alive on the back lines here. They don't have to worry about him at all, really. They've got mid captured, and they get that Span's frag very late. So this seems like it's Poland's map already. Stan just double sticky bombing in. We don't even need an Uber.
He just trapped sewers. Why would the Demoman be there? I'm sure is the question that BB will be asking, as am I. Does manage to get the frag and slips away as well. Is there on last, just trying to capitalize on these players, but a huge bomb from Bonkers picking up Wild Piggy. Again, complicating matters for Portugal. Even when they have an advantage, it's just completely thwarted sort of by just one individual of Portugal. And 31 just powers forward on his own. There's no cohesion out of Portugal. We saw it again in the Sweden game last week, and it just seems to sort of lose them these really sort of easy fights and simple rounds. And you know, just it turns into a bit of a feed fest. I understand, you know, it's getting to the sort of the Tropius mathematically possible stage, and potentially a bit of giving up from Portugal, but you know, they need to sort of lock up their ideas going into map 2 of this best of 3.
Yeah, I mean, they've been obviously trash time now, as you mentioned, but they've been playing like this for so long. Even with 14 minutes left, Portugal have been this kind of disoriented mess on the first map process here. It's yeah, they do need to work something out. Start playing less like players and more like a team. It's Team Fortress, bro.
Yep, it's a one-man army. It's not serving Portugal well. Of course, the individuals are making sort of stellar plays. You know, the mechanics are hard to argue with, but when it comes to actually taking space, moving forward, taking points, managing to get those last caps closed out with some cap pressure, they just aren't able to sort of underline it. And you know, it's just making it easy for Poland. They can just quite happily sit back, tank all the heals into Stan, tank all the heals into Sam and BB, and just let them completely frag out. And I'm sure it's making their logs look nice and healthy with all the deaths out of the side of Portugal.
Yes, absolutely, Portugal. It's a real shame that they are so badly done to in this game, because they definitely had the potential to be all over Poland, but every single time they had a position of advantage, every single time they had an opportunity, they somehow managed to squander it. Namely, every time they got mid or any advantage push, they managed to throw it away. Poland now taking this one forwards into last. There is a back cap on second from Portugal, which is going to be the only thing that stops them from getting wiped and rolled here on last, actually, is Spans getting that one-man back cap. Everyone else dies. Spans is just ×2 on mid. Like, you're gonna come back for me, right, guys? Guys?
Hello, all 6 of you, please.
No, guys, don't cap last.
Please. And the Uber comes out of Poland. Cooney, Piggy down. The 2 scouts are left remaining. They're gonna get chunked pretty quickly. 32 actually managed to pick up 2 guys. I'm gonna have to eat my words. Galine comes in, sweeps up 2, stands still on the sniper on an 8 kill streak. Bonkers close out the cap.
I honestly thought that medic was gonna like accidentally cap while being juggled above the point there for a second.
Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
I feel like there's not gonna be much to say. It was more of just their team was easily able to abuse a Portugal that wasn't all too much playing like a team or managing to get anything done. That's just really been throwing away opportunities for them. And if they can have a mental reset between the 5-0 of process and this whole new world of Metalworks, then Portugal should still definitely have a chance here. The winner of this gonna be going forwards to the quarterfinals against most likely Czechia.
I just think the differential, I think Poland's still going to run circles around them. I'd love to see Portugal put up some numbers, but we've not seen them rectify their mistakes of last week, let alone the mistakes of the previous map. So I think it's going to be a really tall order for them. I obviously hope we see some back and forth, but they've really got to club themselves together here, as we should be seeing a ready up soon enough here.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right in the fact that they haven't really changed anything from last week when we saw the same things sort of happening against Sweden, and now to have it repeated in map 1, or who knows whether they'll be able to learn their lesson in that little 5-minute break before map 2. But we are into this now. Poland leading the series 1-0, taking down Process. This is Poland versus Portugal in the 8th Nations Cup as they do arrive at mid. Stan on the low ground, taking a lot of damage, getting abused by Cooney. Does get the bow in time before the soldiers are in, but he is still so low. It's going to be a very easy frag. Wild Piggy, though, does get taken down. That's no medic for either side as they do get traded out. Portugal, though, definitely in the driver's seat here as they win this mid. Haunts also taking down Wonju. Bonkers seeing if he can trap Haunts in the corner here, and he does. In fact, Portugal could throw this away by over-chasing. Spans is taking a 1v2 without Colline. You can just cap mid here, guys. Take it slow. Wait for the respawners, but instead now both teams have got their spawns at the same time. We might see a repeat mid-fight.
Yeah, a bit of lacking in self-belief from Portugal. They can just play the hype, wait for players to come into them. They don't need to be the ones instigating all the time. They can just force Poland into making a decision when they need to, but what they have decided is to leave Spans on mid alone to get that cap up. It gets picked up straight away by BB and Stan, and it's not even going to get them any forward spawns. Poland just going to reconvert it near instantly. Stan in the banana area trying to apply a bit of pressure. Kaline so weak does manage to slip out just about. His equal Ubers, his equal players, but Poland seemingly going to be the one to sort of unstick this second hold out of Portugal here, is just a sort of getting into some entry spam, but a trap from Cooney picks up 1-2, which is going to complicate matters, but they're still going to charge forward as though they're 6. And we are actually seeing the come alive now. Cooney on 1 HP does get picked off by Stan. As predicted, Poland not looking to pile in so soon. Kalai managing to pick him up through drop down. BB so painfully weak on this truck pack as well. Are we going to see an Uber trade here? Sam going down. BB so far forward. Does he? A lovely arrow out of Zero. He does get the force out of Piggy as well. Bonker's going to be able to jump back. BB in the backlines is going to get picked off, but that's brought an excellent amount of space for Zio. Full Uber advantage. Sam at 5 seconds away in that forward spawn, and they're going to look to fight this mid with force down from Portugal.
Piggy is a maniac. Balls of steel. He could have dropped about 5 times over there and was just holding onto it versus that scout. He just knew. He knew he would miss, and he did actually. He was right, but had to force it off in the end anyway. And now Poland have 100% advantage. They never capped mid. Portugal are definitely going to have to scarper out of second here as Portugal runs one forwards. Colline hiding above.
Oh, he's
God.
not been spotted.
Past him. He
oh,
drops
the bombing
down,
from Haunts as well. No,
he's focusing the wrong players.
He drew the eyes. He drew the eyes. Wild Piggy on his own, shut down by Sam. That was disastrous out of Portugal. He did such an effort. They even looked at it. They even looked at Blaze. But then he just pulls the eyes when the drop down comes, converting 0 frags, no force, no nothing. Nothing but deaths out of the Portuguese side, and they lose that round disastrously. That's painful. I think Horns potentially was that perhaps a tactical pause after that absolute shit show.
Yeah, that was Colline disconnected. They're pretending Colline was lagging, and that's why he missed the easy med force. Okay. So we are back into the game, 1-0 for Poland here. Oh, that's such a shame that they didn't manage to get anything with those 2 soldiers. But here we are, Bonkers. First one forwards, flying in on a bomb onto Horn. It's going to get cleaned up very easily, but the rest of Poland bust in and clean that one up. Get a trade frag there. That's now already all gone wrong for Portugal. Cooney between a rock and a hard place gets cleaned up by Wanzu in the back, getting a 3k there. And yeah, Poland still converting this one pretty easily from the looks of things.
Yeah, I mean, you could see them even toying about. You know, Wanzu was just stood behind Cooney, literally just stood behind Cooney still, and then just 2-rocketed him, and he's again on this last roll. Piggy is building with spans. They're not elected for any off classes just yet. Actually, they have pulled up the sniper and the engineer, so they're going to scramble to get it, but Poland are on a full Uber advantage now, and we know that they are not ones to slouch about as they are making their way into this lobby, and it's only decided between Banana and main. Uber straight out, Stan gets denied. Still in the corner doing an excellent job of sort of floating them in the air. Sam straight on this point, nobody ready to commit. Line and Horse eventually going onto it at the same time, but they're eating so much damage. It's going to be easy for Poland. Sam on the beam, takes off 31. You know, Portugal, they're just not sort of deciding who's going to commit to that point. They leave it to the last second, and then 3 players drop onto it at the same time. And it's just free pickings. It's hunting season for Poland, and they're just popping them so easily here.
Yeah, Sam got right into the corner of that point there, just out of range of Cooney's traps. Maybe he thought he had stickied it well enough, but he hadn't. And that forced everyone on Portugal to lose their lives, sacking for that point just to make sure it didn't get capped. And then Poland obviously play that perfectly, cleaning up all the players who have clustered onto the point, as there is another fast bomb in from Bonkers, who pops Piggy in the air. One's the one to clean it up. And there's no positioning at all from Portugal. They're playing pretty much out of the mid. They do now recommit, trying to get onto the point.
Lovely serve.
Beautiful serve.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, that is a class act.
He would have cratered if he didn't land there either, so some beautiful stuff. So props to Zio.
Yeah, Fischtuga. That's how you say it.
We do see Spans hiding though, spotted instantly by Wanzu, knocked into the air, is going to crater, trying to dodge Wanzu's rocket as well.
Again, Portugal just trying to make all these salvage plays work, and they're just not. I mean, this was already bad enough. But Colline just walking forwards into nothing for God knows what reason. Basically a 2-man sack with a full out against you right now on last, as Poland do run this one in. Once again, Span's going to be taken down. Already a ton of cap time. They just cap it before anyone even blocks the point. Portugal, once again, we're already seeing what we saw on the first map, where Spans and Colline are just kind of feeding to try and do anything, and both of them failing entirely. This could be the mental boom from Portugal already. They could just be treating this one like it's over.
It looks pretty signed and sealed, you know, the games are won by teams, not individuals, you know, and we're just not seeing any coordination out of Portugal whatsoever. They can't keep a bean alive, and Poland are just running circles around them. They're significantly faster on this mid. A high bomb again out. Bonkers did huge damage last time. Chooses to fake as Wanzu commits deep straight onto Wild Piggy, dragging back a line as the scouts charge forward without the beam. Span seemingly caught in this corner. Line bombs over, does huge damage to Sam, but a nice pipe from Stan does see him finished off. We've got Cooney in the back lines, but gets spotted instantly. BB is on the case, gets a good bit of damage onto him though, and ultimately Sam comes in to finish the job. Wild Piggy ultimately surviving that mid though, and Stan getting very weak in that lobby. Does mean there's a chance at last, but never mind. Bonkers was there. Was he on top of the vent? Where was he?
He came in from the side on last, just bombed in behind, and Piggy playing there on the floor. Not going to be able to get away with it.
Painful.
31 now, seeing what he can do. He's okay. Goes down the drop down. Haunts also here to see what they can do on second, but the timing isn't synced up. They're just going to die one by one. Haunts bombing now after the fact. Yeah,
no,
we're just seeing the same
opportunity. It's painful. Do they not know how to count in Portugal? What's going on?
Maybe their language doesn't have numbers or something. They can't count down together.
They must use their fingers or something. But Colline is in, tries to bomb onto the cap. A little bit of time forfeit. Ultimately just completely outcapped again. We're just 8 minutes in. Poland are 4-0 up on this second map in this round of 16, and yeah, it's like it's not we're not even seeing Portugal play as well as Portugal did last round, and it's disastrous here.
Definitely Stan POV for this mid as he comes out on the sticky jumper. Let's see if he can hit these pipes.
Stan.
He's failing all
not
his
very
jumps.
fast.
He's failing all
no, he's
his
so
jumps.
slow. No, he's missed 3 pipes. The mid's over. Stan kill fine.
It's fine though, as Portugal run forwards, and Poland actually don't do a bad job of stopping them. They do get 2 frags early on. Spans in the enemy territory. He's going to get cleaned up as well. Now it's a 3v3, but Wild Piggy is up for the side of Portugal. Colline though bombing forwards into the scouts, just going to get easily cleaned up, and now Portugal, it's all against them. 31, only comeback guy left alive. He's very, very low. Actually separated from his medic now, but he does manage to take down BB, and the pistol onto Wanzu is delightful as well. Just does eventually take them both down, and Portugal, they're going to be able to cap middle.
I never thought I'd see the day. All it took was Stan to completely throw it. And Portugal have locked out a mid on Metalworks. It was clinical. It was simple. Portugal, they've cracked it. They've got the formula to a T. and now they are sort of looking to make their way into second. They want a chance of retribution. There's 20 minutes left. Bonkers does come in, gets the force out of Wild Piggy, which is going to complicate matters, certainly so. And they are deep into this second, but Zio looking to preserve their 60% Uber advantage, and a lot of players from Poland in this shutter. Cooney managing to get Stan. It's going to serve them well. Ones who's so weak in this lower area. BB just running a bit of muck on 31 there, and Spans again in the backlines to nobody's surprise.
Yeah, Poland are saying, we gave you your chance, we played sticky jumper to mid, but that's enough. We're going to have to put stop you in your tracks now, as they do get this 100% Uber charge up and put a real stopper.
Oh, Bonkers gets air shot. Okay, okay, Horns.
Just get that on the logs. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The Uber is here, though, and they're playing so close to it. This could be devastating. In fact, though, Poland do opt to take it elsewhere as the bomb is through from Bonkers. They do actually use this out, but just drop Wanzu from it, and everyone on the side of Portugal manages to get behind the Uber. Now everyone from Poland having to come back to chase it, but the players that weren't in the Uber got cleaned up really, really easily. Portugal actually playing this one well now, as they do have the 5 versus 3 player advantage and the Uber advantage.
Seemingly, it can only go Portugal's way here. They weren't able to punish Poland as much as they potentially could have. Medic, Wanzu, and Sam managed to preserve their lives, but Horn's so deep on 0 managed to get the frag beautifully there, just completely behind those Polish players, and they are on the offensive. Wanzu's so weak. Uber pop by Portugal. Is this going to be the round? Bonkers tries to slip behind, a little bit of cap pressure, but they need to try and close out these frags if they want to start playing the cap, but there's no coordination again. A huge one from Sky, managed to pick up 2 in conjunction with Cooney. Wanzu and Bonkers on top of the point, trying to hunt down Spans on such low HP. And Cooney just gets swept as well. They just didn't get any frags at all with that Uber.
Yeah, if you can't convert that, I don't know what you can convert. They had that Uber charge advantage and killed the medic before the last push even started, and then still completely unable to get any frags or cap time.
Not even any off classes.
Yeah, they just really threw that one away, even with the advantage. So now Portugal having to take a step back once again, reconvene, as all of Poland actually make their way into Valley. This gives Portugal the same opportunity to redo what they did last time. All of them behind, but this time it's not going well at all, as they get crunched between all the players of Poland.
Wanzu plans a very firm warning to Portugal that a back cap will never work on them, but Horns has something to say about it. He's having a bit of a melee on second with Wanzu. Manages to get the cap. BB has something to say about it as well, but he misses that all-crucial rocket, and it's a nice, easy sweep up from him.
Yep, and in the meantime, Stan was capping up mid. Spans just gifts him a little gift-wrapped scout corpse as he runs into the trap. And now 100% advantage. We're going to see Poland running forwards. Colline throwing onto his life away as well to see what he can get done. As now the bombs do come into second. They're getting second for free. They're going to save the Uber charge for last. And I believe this game won't be on your screens much longer, as Cooney gets caught up as well. Now that Uber is out on last hit, will they be able to get any of the frags? They just force everyone back to spawn. Sam already playing the point, and that's going to be the end of it. 5-0 for Poland on both maps. A very, very easy life for them as they get through into the quarterfinals.
Yeah, just completely outclassed in every respect. I was really hoping for a tighter game than that, but Portugal just couldn't hack it. They couldn't figure out what was going wrong.
I don't think there's much more to talk about there. Not even worth looking at the logs for that one, I don't think.
I would tend to agree.
As Poland just take both maps easily, 5-0. They're going to be facing against Czechia in the quarterfinal, as the results of that game are confirmed. Spain have been eliminated, as have Portugal. The entire Iberian Peninsula knocked out in one fell swoop tonight. Sorry, guys. So, yeah, the quarterfinal match going to be Czechia versus Poland.
That is what we will be seeing in the quarterfinal stages. We're sort of sealing off the round of 16 here. That was Poland versus Portugal. Poland managing to close out in 2 maps, 5-0, 5-0 in this round of 16 for the Nations Cup to number 8. Make sure you check us out. We are Critscast. Check out our Twitter. Check out our Discord. We're here on Twitch. Give us a follow. Give us a sub. All these VODs are going to be on YouTube. You know where to find us, youtube.com/Critscast. Check out our merch. Check out our Patreon. And we will keep churning out some Nations Cup content to you, the viewer. And I would like to thank Bumfries for joining me today. Of course, we have got Rahmed on production, the man himself, Rahmed Gun. And thank to you, the viewers, as well. And we will catch you on the next one.